Today, I want to talk about knowing your team members' strengths and weaknesses. This video is primarily for department managers, but if you're not one, I'm not going to stop you from watching this video. If you're a department manager, you should understand what your team's strengths and weaknesses are and what different people are better at. In the previous video, I talked about how I want all members of my team to be able to handle all possible types of jobs that come into the department. And while that's true, there's still going to be people who are better and worse at certain types of requests. So what I want to talk about in this video is different characteristics that I've seen people have and how you can use that to their advantage and give them the jobs they're most likely to succeed on. One trait is some people are better or worse at figuring things out. Now, sometimes you can give a person a job and they'll say, "Oh, I don't know how to do that. I've never done this before." And they rely on established procedures or processes to complete their day-to-day work. And some people will take an unknown request that they've never done before as a challenge. They would actually enjoy doing something that they haven't done and they need to figure out. And they'll say, okay, let me take a few minutes, let me take a look at it and see if I can make this work. Another interesting trait, when given a difficult and tedious process, will the person suffer through the pain and just take hours and hours to complete the request, or will they get creative and try to find a completely different solution to the problem? This happened to me a number of times when I assigned somebody a job that would take maybe 3 or 4 hours to do, and it would just be frustrating to do. And the person would just sit there and they accepted it, and they would just do one step after next until it's all done. And when it came time to transition it to the next shift, the person from a second shift was not like that at all. They would actually rather put more work up front to figure out a different solution for a problem, like a programmatic or a batch file. And so what they did is, as soon as they got that, they looked at it as like, no way, I gotta do this for another 3 hours. And they started Googling, they researched, and they found a way to do that task or request in more automated fashion, so they don't have to put all those hours in. Another trait I found is some people like really short projects where they can just complete them quick and get it done and move on to the next thing. Or they like a long running project, something they could settle in and work on for maybe hours and even days. As an example of that, we had a job where we received lots of different data sources that we need to load into review system, and each data source had problems, and the person who was loading had to create a giant spreadsheet with hundreds of entries, and each one had a specific problem they had to make note of and then consult me. I would probably answer certain questions about it. They would have to go back and retry certain errors, and this process would keep going for maybe 2 weeks or so. And the person I gave it to was an absolutely perfect person for that, because he just enjoyed it. He got the Excel going, he would make notes of the errors, and he would just sit there and work on one task at a time, and something like that did not bother him at all. Where if I were to give the same task to a person who likes quick projects, this job would drive him insane. The last item I have is more on a personal level, where you observe employees and see what their preference like, what they like to do. For example, maybe somebody takes lunch at the exact same minute every day, and that's because that's just how they like it. And it would not be a nice thing of you to give them like a rush job 15 minutes before they usually go out for lunch. Same thing goes with overtime. Some people may be single and they want to make as much money as they can because they may have loans to pay off or something like that, and they would totally utilize any chance working overtime, so they'll come in on the weekend or stay late. And then there are other people who do not want to do that, and the reason is they may have families, they may have family commitments where they gotta take kids somewhere, and they're just not able to do that. And that's also a very important thing to consider. I'm sure you know, as a manager, you can't always dictate which person is going to take request every single time, right? Sometimes request comes in, and if that person is available, they're available. They have to handle it no matter what their personal preferences are. If you are able to, if you have option of assigning a job to this person, that person, or that, knowing what their personal preferences are, what their traits are, will make you so much better manager. And when you assign the job, it will be done quicker, more efficient, and without less frustration from that employee. So, are there any traits that I missed? Leave them in the comments. I'd like to know what you think.